Oh, I love this. Oh my God. Do I have this right? Was this a trap that they laid for this question of the Solicitor General about, hey, so what about Native Americans? They have their own tribes and nations. And hey, Sean, can we play the clip of the Solicitor General responding to this? Is John? This is
Justice Gorsuch. I think
Gorsuch. Listen to this trap. Yeah.
He's very careful. He's very vigilant because he's from the western part of the country. He's very, very protective of Native American rights, of all the justices. It's one of his things. Yeah.
Sean,
Native Americans today are birthright citizens under your test and under your friend's test?
I think so. I mean, obviously they've been granted citizenship by statute.
Put aside the statute. Do you think they're birthright citizens?
No, I think the clear understanding that everybody agrees in the congressional debates is that the children of tribal Indians are not birthright citizens.
I understand that's what they said, but your test is the domicile of the parents, and that would be the test you'd have us apply today, right?
Yes. So if a tribal Indian, for example,
So, I mean, how do you think the Solicitor General handled that question for Gorsuch?
He hadn't thought it through. And, I must say, John Sauer, it runs circles or, around all kinds of questions. It's almost hard to follow him, but he does speak very quickly and he's clearly intelligent. This is one he hadn't thought through. And the reason he hadn't thought it through was because, like I told you, there's 3 or 4 steps to their new test. And one of those wickets you have to go through is domicile. And it's such a tortured test. He hadn't really thought through this idea of Native Americans or Indians. And, under the Constitution, people might not understand this, but under the Constitution, Indian tribes are considered sovereigns. They're not sovereigns in the same way as a foreign nation. That is, they're still subject to the jurisdiction of U.S. law.
Yeah, the FBI works crimes on reservations, right?
But they have their own tribal courts. They have their own governments, and they do get sovereign immunities and protections in ways that other walks of American life do not. And so, I think probably birthright citizenship, that they wouldn't necessarily get it under birthright citizenship as it's been interpreted since 1898, because they're subject to a separate sovereign. Congress has made it really clear for many years that they do get citizenship. Congress kind of went in and made it clear they get citizenship. But what he hadn't thought through is, wait a minute, I'm making up this cockamamie brand new domicile test. What do we do with this problem? And that's kind of stunning that he and the lawyers that prepped him hadn't thought that one through, particularly because Justice Gorsuch cares about that.
Yeah, unbelievable. And so this domicile thing, and also just wrapped up in this, as you helped us with, they're trying to say those 5 words, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, has to do with not only domicile but loyalty to the U.S. and we can't trust people who, and so it seemed to me that what Trump is trying to say is we'd have to literally do a background investigation on everybody who's giving birth here to see if they're loyal.
He was talking out of both sides of his mouth on that one, because the justices did ask that. I think it might have been Justice Barrett and Justice Jackson both said, wait, are we going to have mini trials now? I mean, are you going to have a baby's born and in the hospital you have to have some kind of factual inquiry, and do they get before a judge? And I think Justice Jackson said, are you going to take mom's deposition in the delivery room to see? And then he would dodge and pivot on these. He's like, no. Under the executive order, we have definitions, right? And so we just have to apply the executive order, which is certain kinds of immigrants. One of the other justices asked the question, if you're tracing this to parents, it says nothing in the 14th Amendment about parents. It says persons born. And then he's like,
it's the baby.
Newborns don't really have a domicile because they're brand new babies. So he said it's supposed to go to the parents. And then when the justice said, well, is it the mom or the dad? And he's like, well, President Trump says it's the mom in the executive order. And then all of a sudden, Frank, here we are with Donald Trump making up stuff for the Constitution. I think no one's going to say, listen, he gets to do it. Congress can't do it.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court doesn't get to do it.
Oh
The
my God.
the people through ratification, Donald Trump just gets to make up the new rule. I don't think this court's going to go for that, even
So,
though they're
hey,
very,
everybody.
very sympathetic to Donald Trump. Yeah.